As I watched him, he slowly lowered the blade of the sword and extended the point towards me as though in salute. This action must have released powerful vibrations towards my body, for I suddenly felt myself go weak at the knees, and my stomach seemed to turn over. The vision persisted. 3 times I glanced away, to find it still there when I looked back. Then I called to my sister, Dolly, "Come and look." Dolly looked, and a moment later, to my horror, she had collapsed in a faint. The vision then disappeared as mysteriously as it had come. Alarmed by Dolly's fainting fit, I called out to my parents, who rushed in and bore my sister away. When she had recovered sufficiently, my father questioned her, in the course of which she described the figure exactly as I had seen it. It made a great impression on me because this was the first time any member of my family had seen or heard any of the spirit people I knew so well. My poor parents were most disturbed and puzzled by the occurrence, particularly as I had no opportunity of talking to my sister and exchanging impressions with her before my father questioned her. I have seen my white knight only once since then. This was years later on the occasion of my first meeting at the Queen's Hall in London. Not unnaturally, I was somewhat nervous at the prospect of addressing my first meeting, but as I stood up to speak, I suddenly saw him suspended above the audience. Again he lowered his sword and pointed it at me, causing me to shake violently, as though the rays of the sword were disintegrating my body by the strength of their vibrations. Shaw Desmond, the distinguished writer, was on the platform with me and, unaware of what was happening, asked anxiously if I was ill. I shook my head and stood waiting, wondering whether I should hear my knight's voice. There came no sound, but unbidden into my mind came words, "to serve and not to yield." I knew they had come from him.